There is a certain kind of person who notices everything. You walk into a room, everyone seems normal, people are talking, someone is laughing, nothing looks wrong. But somehow, you feel it. Something is off. You notice the person smiling without smiling with their eyes. You notice two friends avoiding each other. You notice someone's voice change when a certain name is mentioned. Nobody tells you anything. But your brain has already started building the story. People often call this intelligence. They say you're observant, emotionally aware, good at reading people. And maybe you are. But what they don't see is what happens later. You go home. The room is quiet, and your brain replays everything. Why did they say it like that? Was that joke actually a joke? Did I make the conversation awkward? Were they angry? You can turn a 3-second pause into 30 minutes of thinking. Because being too aware is not simply noticing more. It's being unable to stop noticing. And eventually, the mind that helps you understand everyone else can make it almost impossible to relax inside yourself. So why are some people like this? For some, awareness is simply part of their personality. They naturally process things deeply. Small details stand out. A change in someone's voice, a different expression, a shift in the mood of a room. Their brain doesn't just receive information, it studies it. But for others, awareness was learned. Imagine growing up in a home where people's moods could change without warning. One moment, everything is calm. The next, someone is angry. As a child, you cannot control the adults around you, so you learn to predict them. You listen to footsteps, you study faces, you notice how hard a door closes, you learn that a certain tone of voice means, stay quiet. Another means, everything is safe. Your brain becomes a radar system, not because you wanted to become good at reading people, because at one point, reading people helped you feel prepared. Then, you grow up. The environment changes, but the radar stays on. Now, your boss sends you a message. Can we talk later? That's it. 5 words. But your mind immediately opens 20 different tabs. Did I do something wrong? Was my work bad? Am I getting fired? Why did they say talk instead of chat? You know this sounds excessive. That doesn't stop the analysis. Because overly aware people rarely experience a moment only once. First, they live it. Then they watch themselves living it. Then, they analyze the version they just watched. You tell a joke at dinner. Everyone laughs. For most people, the moment ends there. For you, did I laugh too loudly afterward? Did I interrupt someone? Maybe that person didn't actually find it funny. Maybe I was trying too hard. This is the strange cost of extreme self-awareness. You stop simply being yourself and start supervising yourself. Every word passes through inspection. Every emotion needs an explanation. Even happiness can become suspicious. You are having a good day. Then suddenly you think, why am I this happy? Am I avoiding something? How long will this last? And just like that, you have analyzed yourself out of the moment. It is like trying to dance while staring into a mirror. You see every movement, every mistake, every awkward step. But eventually, you forget to hear the music. This awareness becomes even more exhausting in relationships. Someone says, I'm fine. Most people hear the words. You hear the pause before them. You notice the shorter sentence, the missing emoji, the slight distance in their voice. So you ask, are you sure? They say yes, but your brain says no. Now you are trapped between what the person told you and what you think you noticed. Sometimes your instincts are correct. That's the problem. Because every time you correctly notice hidden anger, dishonesty, or discomfort, your brain learns a dangerous lesson. Keep scanning. There's always something beneath the surface. Soon, compliments feel complicated. Someone tells you that you did a great job. Instead of enjoying it, you search for motive. Do they actually mean that? Do they want something? Are they just being polite? You become excellent at seeing possible hidden meanings, but terrible at accepting simple ones. And then comes empathy. Overly aware, people often notice emotions before anyone talks about them. A friend enters the room. They say they're okay, but you can feel their sadness, so you adjust. You speak more gently. You avoid certain topics. You try to make them comfortable. Then another person is stressed. You calm them down. Someone is angry. You soften yourself. Without realizing it, you become the emotional thermostat of every room you enter. If the room is cold, you create warmth. If the room is tense, you become calm. If someone is uncomfortable, you change yourself to make things easier. People love this about you. You understand me. You always know when something is wrong. You may completely ignore your own. This is where awareness becomes exhaustion. You're not only living your life, you are constantly processing everyone around you, their faces, their words, their moods, your reactions, possible future problems. Everything becomes information. And your mind never closes the office. Even at night, you're lying in bed. The conversation ended 6 hours ago, but suddenly your brain says, "Remember that strange thing they said?" Great. Now we're investigating. This is why highly aware people can look calm while feeling mentally exhausted. From the outside, they did nothing. Inside, they ran a marathon through 20 imaginary situations. What if this happens? What if they leave? What if I misunderstood? What if I don't prepare? At some point, awareness becomes an attempt to control the future. The belief is simple. If I understand everything, nothing can surprise me. If I notice the warning signs early, nothing can hurt me. If I imagine every possible outcome, I'll be ready. But life does not work that way. You can study a person deeply and still be disappointed. You can plan carefully and still fail. You can notice every red flag and still make the wrong choice. And this is the lesson overly aware people struggle with most. Understanding is not control. Sometimes a silence is just silence. Sometimes a late reply means someone was busy. Sometimes a strange look has absolutely nothing to do with you. And sometimes you will not know. That uncertainty feels terrifying when your brain has spent years trying to solve everything. But freedom begins when you stop treating every detail like a puzzle that needs an answer. You can notice someone's mood without taking responsibility for it. You can feel anxious without investigating the anxiety for 3 hours. You can see that someone is uncomfortable without immediately changing yourself. Awareness becomes healthier when you learn one simple skill. Notice, but don't always follow. Your brain says, something is wrong. You can answer, maybe. Your brain says, they probably hate you. Maybe. Your brain says, analyze this until we find the answer. No, not every thought deserves an investigation. Not every feeling is a warning. Not every person needs to be understood completely. Because awareness is a powerful gift. But without boundaries, it becomes a prison with transparent walls. You can see everything outside. You understand everyone. You notice every detail. But you are still trapped inside your own mind. The goal is not to become less aware. It is to become selective about what deserves your awareness, to see deeply without drowning in what you see, to understand people without carrying them, and to finally experience a moment without standing outside yourself, analyzing the person experiencing it. Because sometimes wisdom is noticing the hidden meaning. And sometimes, wisdom is noticing it, then letting it go. Thank you for watching until this moment. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any upcoming videos. Goodbye, and see you next time.